Hello everyone, Liav is here. I want to introduce you the new Tiny Timer version 1.2. Here, this is just a short video to show you only the new features and the improvements that I made to this timer. I made also a full video with all detailed explanation. Here I'll just show you quick what this timer can do. Well, this timer is connected to a tiny LiPo battery, only 40 milliamps, this only 1 gram, 1.2 grams, and the timer itself alone is only 0.8 grams or even less than that. Well, I can connect a servo to this timer or a Nichrome plug, or I can solder it directly if I want to burn a rubber only in one function. With the Servo, I can also use it for two functions, and this is the new feature and I want to show you. First, I want to show it in the simplest mode. I just start it. This is the normal mode, and I leave it, and after 5 seconds the Servo will rotate 90 degrees and then rotate back. This is like after 5 seconds only. Well, what can I do also? How can I make a second function? I'll just go into programming mode and I'll change it. The other video I'll explain in details exactly what I'm doing. Here I'm just doing it very quick, and here I can choose the second angle for the second position. So this will be the second position, for example, and I choose it, and now it returns to initial position. And let's go back. So I start the flight, I release the button, then it starts, and immediate it moves to the second position. So the second position is immediate right after starting the flight, and the last position is after the DT time that you programmed. So again, start the flight, when I release the button, so half a second later it will move to the second position. So you can connect here a rudder of an F1H, for example, and after the DT time it will complete the movement. So you can connect to two different arms, two different wires, and choose the exact angle that you want. You can also reverse the rotation direction, and the delta of the angle will remain the same like you programmed it right now. So other thing that you can do, I'll again go to programming mode. If you can see, I need to disconnect the battery and reconnect it in order to program it. This is only for the advanced programming. This is also an improvement, and I'll change the mode to F1H mode, I call it, because you operate it differently, not need to hold the button and release it like before. I'll change it just now and go there. Now I'm holding the button and it stays in standby mode, and when I release the button it moves the servo to the second position. When I press it again, it comes back. You can connect a magnetic switch in parallel to this button and put it next to your hook. So when you pull the hook forward, it will make the servo like this in the initial position. When you release the hook, it will move to the second position. And when you press again, it comes back to the initial position. And I release, it starts to count the time, and after 5 seconds, it will complete the movement and comes back to the initial position. And well, as I showed you earlier, I need to unplug the battery in order to enter to the advanced programming mode to change these settings. But if I want to change the DT time, I can do it from standby mode, but only in the normal mode, not in the F1H mode. So if I want to change the DT time here in the F1H mode, I will need to unplug the battery and plug it again while the button is pressed. That's how I protect the user from making changes unintentionally. So I made a longer video with full explanations on each menu and each configuration So you can see it here. I want to make it short. I just want to mention that the servo gets power only when needed. In the normal mode, when you flying like your P30 or your hemorrhage glider or catapult glider, you don't need to give the servo power when not needed. Only when you want to start the flight, so when you press the button and hold it, servo gets power, and when you release and launch your model for the first 5 seconds, you get power, and then the servo don't need to get power until you are moving to the DT. So in F1H mode, in this mode, in contrary, you need to let the servo get power all the time, because you're flying, for example, an F1H or a simple F1A, and you want the servo will hold the tension all the flight. So in case you want to fly a very small model, you can use this tiny battery, and it will save power. And also, when after DT, when this timer go to sleep, it cuts off the power from the servo, so this timer consumes very little power. So you don't need to be worried about adding a switch to unplug this battery. Well, only when you go home you need to disconnect it. And that's it. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe and like my Facebook page. And if you have any suggestions or questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or in my Facebook. And thank you very much for watching.